Well, hello everyone. Forgot me hat. Gotta get my hat on.
Go get his hat on.
A little naked there for a minute. Nice to see everybody today. It's going to be a really interesting day, I hope. Here, it's welcome to History through Canadian Numismatics. Of course, we also have Dale here, who's going to cover the UK version and Europe. And we're going to have some fun today and see if you can win a few coins by contributing. And
I can't wait for this. I've been looking forward to this, Skipper. Thank you so much for having me. And,
anytime, my friend. I'm getting a little bit of a disaster here. What the heck's going on with this thing? There we go. Oh, that's much better. Oh yes.
Well, I'm going to turn this camera around so you can see the coins. I don't know why I can't find any 1 pennies. So forgive me on that. We got the dates of 1950 to 1954, right? 45, 54?
Yeah, it's 1950 to 54, yep.
Yep, okay, cool. All right. Right, so I'm going to turn this camera around.
Ogre coins, is that how that's pronounced? Ogre? Interesting. Of course, Evil Arch Conservative. It's nice to see you. Red Dirt Productions. Awesome. Where'd Dale go?
In the square.
Where'd you go?
I'm here. Do you want to put it into like a square?
You want to bring yours up so we can see that 1950s. We're going to go through 1950 first here, and again, remember the top three that contribute will receive a coin. So let's do lots of sharing and fill that chat up with all kinds of interesting information. And I'm going to bring up my friend's coins here. I got things a little bit arse backwards. There we go.
Alrighty, we got the 1950 Scottish 1 shilling, and we have here the 1950 English 1 shilling. And this is going to be quite an interesting evening tonight, because there's going to be 2 monarchs.
That's right.
So here we have the English and then the Scottish.
Evil Arch Conservative. I love it. The fact that you're from Indianapolis. Indianapolis 500, only 138 laps due to rain. Formula One world champion Johnny Parsons won the race and then slipped in a puddle and hurt himself. But okay, we got 1950. Princess Anne was born August 15th, and 1950 the cardiac pacemaker was invented. Very cool.
I'm actually just going to get out this a second. Okay, our yearly inflation rate in the UK was only 0.9%. The average cost as a house in the UK was £1,940. What else is it? Okay, that was around. So 1950. So a house was £1,940 in 1950.
Unbelievable. Of course, you got to look at the different in the wages.
Yeah, the average wage in the US was $3,210.
There's our 1950s Canadian George VI penny. Nothing super spectacular about that. First non-stop Trans-Canada flights made in January of 1950. That's cool.
Okay, let's get into the incumbents stuff. Here we go.
That's a
Okay,
handsome.
we had King George VI, as you just said. Prime Minister was Clement Attlee, Labour, and
August 7th, Canada joins a United Nations force to fight in the Korean War. So here we go again.
there we go.
To the war. And October 31st of 1950, the oil pipeline linking Edmonton, where I'm at, to Sarnia in Ontario is completed.
Cool. That's quite interesting, actually. Do you know your screens? Do you want to put it onto the square screens? It's like the second one in. I don't know if you can do that.
I will try this way. No,
I'm actually on StreamYards.
I'm not sure how to do that. Hold on. I'm going to switch camera because my cameras are all ours backwards today because of sound. Okay. Hi again. There's two of me. Look, one side, one third. That is cool.
Look, Hammer, great to see you. Red Dirt Productions, great to see you.
Okay, so what were you talking about? Square?
Yeah, do you know you got the single, I think it's the third section, and you can have it as that's it. Perfect. I can see you.
That's it?
Yeah, that's better. You can fit more in that way.
Oh, cool.
Rather than...
We'll do this.
Perfection.
Well, almost perfection. Oh, my cameras are all out of whack here. Get up there. Hello. This is so much fun.
Fun fact, 3rd of January 1950. That's too far ahead. That is Red Dirt Productions. We're doing 1950 to 1954.
Yeah. Stick to 1950 right now. 1950. That year.
Do you remember our cars called the Rover? I'm pretty sure Tracy may know them.
Oh, well, I love Rovers.
Car maker. I did my work experience in Rover. Car maker. Well, it was actually called British Leyland back then. It's now called BMW today. Car maker Rover tests the revolutionary new turbine power concept car. Release of the comedy film The Happiest Days of Our Life, starring Alistair Sim and Margaret Rufford.
Well, that's a good looking one.
Oh, look at that. That's slick. That's not a circulator coin, is it?
Yes, that's the Canadian silver dollar for 1950.
That's a beautiful coin. Do you know what? I did have a silver dollar, but it was not 2017. I done it as a giveaway. Gave it away as a giveaway.
Yeah.
The Eagle comic first featured in Dan Dare and Captain Pugwash. I used to like getting the old Eagle comics when I was younger.
Yeah, I haven't received the artwork yet, McHammer.
No, that reminds me. Spray Can has got mine, Makama. He's going to deliver it when my box is full up. You just remind me. I must send him some cash. The
I think
first
that's the
Grand
same
Prix.
with me.
Sorry.
I say that's the same with me.
Charlie Brown, Snoopy, and the rest of the beloved Peanuts gang were introduced in the world tonight in 19. I said it's true. That's pretty interesting.
Very.
Jonas Salk developed the first polio vaccine.
Yeah.
The first Grand Prix held at Silverstone. It's not far away from where I am.
Oh, it's a little too far.
A tornado tracks across England from Wendover to Berkeley, Norfolk, 68 miles, the longest ever such track in Britain. Yes, we do get tornadoes here in Great Britain. We get them more often than not. It's just not really broadcast.
You know, Nancy Hodges of British Columbia became the first woman in the Commonwealth. I'm talking the Commonwealth now, elected Speaker of a legislature in Canadian history. That is very, very cool. And December 18th, 1950, the first Canadian troops arrived in Korea for the Korean War.
Ooh.
Call that the Forgotten War.
Yeah,
so many people aren't aware that we were over there for that, and that war is still on. It's still on. All they have is a ceasefire.
Yeah, and you got the DMZ.
Yeah,
it's just as active it is today. It was back then, just no conflict.
It's quite shocking that's actually going on.
I did not know this, actually. The World Cup opens in Brazil. The England national football team competing for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
In the World Cup, here you go. This one for the Americans. Ready? In the World Cup, the England national football team is humiliated by losing 1-0 to the United States in Belo Horizonte.
Belo Horizonte. Where is that?
Brazil.
Oh, that's in Brazil.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Sainsbury's opens the first purpose-built supermarket at Croydon.
Cool. The Detroit Red Wings won their fourth Stanley Cup by defeating the New York Rangers 4-3. Due to scheduling conflicts at Madison Square Garden, all the Rangers' home games were played at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto.
That's pretty interesting. Do you know, there's quite a lot of stuff that happened in your area, you know, more than you realise. I should imagine for going through this.
Yeah, it's quite a bit.
You go, August 29th, 4,000 British troops are sent to Korea.
Yep. Lucky them. That was a horrific time over there. Especially since the gotta remember at the end of World War II, of course, you had the communist forces fighting with us, but they established a foothold in North Korea, forcing the Japanese out, and they converted all the North Koreans into communists. And South Korea were all capitalist.
Yeah.
So hence they didn't they you know you had complete family split. It was terrible. Okay. Let's kick her up and take a look at 1951.
I'm just going through some still on the Whoa. Here we go. My thing's broken, so sometimes it will play out like that. There we go, sorted.
All right. September 15th to October 1st, 1950, under the command of General Douglas MacArthur, UN forces drive North Korea north of the 38th parallel.
So definitely driving them back. 51, 51, 51. There wasn't really much going on apart from, just what there's no, it's probably going to be the same when it comes to the Korean War,
Well,
just
there's
all
different
politics
battles.
stuff. Yeah. No, about the politics going through the emotions of everything, mainly in 50. Let's go on to 51. Alrighty. Oh, here you go. British Board of Film Censors introduce X-rated films. Well, this is weird. British Board of Films Censors introduces X-rated films suitable for those over age of 16. The Ford Concord.
Real, that's hard to. That's hard to believe how, considering how prudish people were.
But yeah, I mean, it's on all the time over here now. It's just, it's boring. You know what I mean? It's just like we don't even watch TV, because that's all what's on. It's just crazy. So this is the 2 shilling. The florins were basically phased out, and this took over the florins. And I love this design on here. Got the Tudor Rose in the centre there. Crown Tudor Rose.
May 26, 1951, first female astronaut Sally Ride was born. Ride, Sally, ride on your mystery ship.
The Godzilla Massacre, Korean War things. I think it's 1951. 40-year-old Lee Willard wins the International 500 before start after a week. He suffered severe burns during another race, ending his racing career. 1951, Universal Automatic Computer UNIVAC 1 was first in the community in the United States, designed by John Petzer Eckler and John William. Well, I can't even pronounce that. And that computer basically put a lot of people out of work.
Well, you look at the step going from the ENIAC to the UNIVAC is like day and night. It was a massive leap.
It was. And going back to computer technology, IBM was the one who printed the names or the serial numbers, or whatever you want to call it, onto the Jews. It was done by IBM.
Mm-hmm.
And bubble wrap, I believe, to wrap that computer, bubble wrap was originally invented for wallpaper.
Seriously?
Yeah, it was invented for wallpaper. And obviously they didn't have anything to transport these computers with, and they realized that this invention, cutting a lot of it out, is literally used for packing. That's where you get the packing bubble wrap from. And here we go, it's a halfpenny. And there is the Golden Hind. What is that building? Is that
nickel done in 1951 is called the Isolation of Nickel Bicentennial. It's chromium plated steel, and as Canada is the world's largest single producer of nickel, it seems appropriate to issue a commemorative piece on the 200th anniversary of the isolation and naming of the element by Swedish chemist A.F. Cronstedt. The obverse was as on the 1948-50 issues, the reverse showing a nickel refinery, which was designed by Stephen Trenka, And that he has his monogram at the lower right, ST. We'll take a look at that. Lower right, there's the ST. See the ST there, lower right? Okay, and you see the obverse. You got King George the Sixth.
So you got another scratch to his neck there, is it?
Yeah, not as bad as some of the other ones, but a little bit on that one. Overall, though, this one's in pretty good shape.
It's pretty good. Do you know what? I like the actual shape of that. You got the circle of the I can't remember the name of that now. Is it the 12 side? Is it 12 sided inside there?
Yes, on that one it is. And that didn't last too long. That changed a little on down the road here when we'll get to the rounded ones. In 1951. Why don't I have you on there? I should have you on there. Am I looking at the wrong one?
There you go. This plane here I'm about to announce a very underrated aircraft. This was the English electric Canberra of the Rolls-Royce Avon engines becomes the first jet to make an unfueled transatlantic flight, taking only 4 hours 37 minutes from Oria Aldergrove in Northern Ireland to Gander in Newfoundland. And what's so special about that aircraft? It was the highest and fastest flying aircraft in the world. And the only thing that would beat that is the SR-71. And the Canberra is still in use today. Consists of a pilot, and right in front of the nose is the camera operator.
Wow. Evil arch conservatives putting a lot of stuff on the Korean War, and she brought up it was the Goldbergs. Where are you here? Rosenbergs. The Rosenbergs were a husband and wife. And of course, you understand we're getting into the 50s. We're getting into the McCarthy era, and everybody was hunting communists. It was communism was they were the enemy now. You know, we're getting into the Cold War,
big time.
and of course, for them to end up being spies, it was a death sentence, and they were put to death for stealing atomic secrets. That's a good one.
The character Dennis the Menace first appears in the Beano. The stone of Scone is located in Fulfar, having been stolen by Scottish nationalists. The submarine HMS Affray sinks, killing 75 crew members.
Wasn't that stone put underneath the throne?
Yeah, it was stolen underneath the throne in I believe it is in Westminster Abbey.
Westminster Abbey, yeah.
And they took it back, being national Scottish heroes, thinking that they were going to be arrested and all that sort of stuff. So they kept it for ages, and they realised that no, you were brave enough to actually take it from the English, so we let you off, basically. Which is fair enough. I mean, you got to have a lot of, girders down there to do that,
Mm-hmm.
And technically, we did actually steal it from the Scottish.
Oh, and October 27, 1951, the Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip, and the Princess Elizabeth, Duchess of Edinburgh, now Elizabeth II, attended an Edmonton Eskimos home game in the Western semifinal, Edmonton beating Winnipeg 4-1. The Edmonton Eskimos are now, to be politically correct, Edmonton Elks, because Canada people were taking offense to the name Eskimo.
22nd to 25th of April, Korean War, Battle of Imjin River, the 29th Infantry Brigade of the British Army, serving with the United Nations, put up a brave but fundamentally unsuccessful resistance to the Chinese after, advance with 141 UN troops killed. The last stand of the 1st Battalion Gloucester Regiment, the glorious Gloucesters, at Hill 235 rapidly becomes the part of the modern military tradition. That was pretty.
You know, here we are wrapped in the Korean War, and Canada in 1951 finally signed a peace agreement with Germany.
Yeah, it's nuts, isn't it? No more than what? 6 years?
6 years for them to get around to doing it. Oh, geez, I never heard of that, LNW. 21st November, 2 Canadian National Railway trains collided in northeastern British Columbia in the Canoe River train crash. The death tolls 21, with 17 of them Canadian troops bound for Korea. Oh, my Lord.
Yes, they're already in 1951.
Oh, yeah, we're in 51, LNW, yeah.
George VI opens the Festival of Britain in London, including the Royal Festival Hall. Dome and Discovery Skylon will be the last major public event by the King and Queen together. Festival Gardens and Funfair opened in Battersea Park at Lansbury Estate, and the popular is begun this year as housing showcase. The first broadcast of the Goon Show.
In 51?
Sorry?
In 51.
Yep, the Goon Show. 28th of May. What's on my birthday? Something else? Do you know what? There's nothing in my birthday. The East Colony explosion leaves 83 people dead. Guy Burgess and McDonald McLean defected to the Soviet Union. It's weird. I don't know why I have to read on that.
Yeah, LNW, we discussed the Rosenbergs already. You missed out. But it's a good bit of history that we should remember. The first regular scheduled transatlantic flights began between Idlewild Airport and now John F. Kennedy Airport.
Oh, yeah, I was about to read that one out. Hey!
You just noticed her, right?
Yeah, I was about to read. I like to obviously read a few and read them out. And obviously, I'm trying to go around in like a circle, listen to what you got, read the chat out then.
Second.
Hey!
Happy birthday, brother.
This is the 28th of May. Funny, mine's the 22nd.
Oh, it's what, 1951? May 28th, 1951 was your birthday? You're getting old. Us baby boomers have to stick together.
Baby boomers, yeah. What year were you born in?
53. We're not there yet.
If you can guess how old I am next year, I'll be very impressed.
In October 27, 1951, the cobalt bomb cancer therapies first tested in London, Ontario.
Ooh. 74. Okay. Actually, folks, Stacking, you're younger than I am.
74? You're younger than my oldest son.
He's younger than me. A dime bag Darren says I'm 38. Not even close. I wish I was 38.
You want to come up with us, dime bag, or you want to sit back in the crowd?
Chinese troops in the Battle of the Song Gok spur the engagement that laced into the early hours of November 3rd. You'll be 60, Coin World UK. Yeah, she's getting there. I'm on my way. 20th December, the experimental breeder reactor, i.e. EBR, and Alco-Ido becomes the first nuclear power to generate electricity. The electricity powered 4 light bulbs.
Wow.
Okay, let's read some of this. Boxer Randy Turpin beats American Sugar Ray Robinson in a fight in London and become a middleweight champion. This is quite significant. This is new Port Talbot Steelworks opens at Margam, South Wales, and 2 weeks ago it's just been saved because it was literally about to close, and it's just been saved. Just been a massive takeover 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah. So it's been going 40 years, 50, 60 years. 51, wow. 61, 61, 71. Yeah, nearly 70 years. That's crazy. 51. When you sort of like say 1950s, 1960s, 70s, it doesn't sound that far away, does it? Really, if you think about it. Miss World Beauty Pageant is held at the festival in Britain. King George VI has an operation to remove part of his lung. Austin A30 car introduced. I'm just trying to find to the point where zebra crossings, a type of pedestrian crossings introduced for the first time. That's right, Z10 pincers are for. 6,000 British troops were sent to Egypt to deal with the anti-British disturbances at Failid in the Suez Canal. UK bank rate maintained 2% since October 1939 is raised. 20% now. It's actually going up again.
Okay.
King George VI makes the Christmas speech to the Commonwealth, but it has been pre-recorded as is still struggling to recover from his operation 3 months prior.
Right.
That's it. That is it for 1951 for me anyway. Let's read some more of the well then your name will be Pop Skipper. Dime bag. Well, according to Miss Seven Bow, I'm almost 60, and Dimebag Darren reckons I'm 38. All right, 52. There we go. So this is a farthing. It's still with.
I'm absolutely botching this. Can you still hear me okay there, bro?
Absolutely. Look at that beautiful coin, man. That is just stunning. I can shave in that from here. Okay, 31st Marshall Plans expires after distributing more than the United States dollar, e.g., 31 billion to foreign aid to rebuild Europe. Experiment with breeder reactor, the EBR. I've read that one up already. Well, we back on our own. We have the 1951 silver dollar from Numismaniac. I'm going to read you out some British stuff here, and I can read out the chat. 5th of January, Prime Minister Winston Churchill arrives in the United States for an official visit to talks with President Harry S. Truman. Aer Lingus Douglas DC-3 aircraft on London to Dublin flight crashes in Wales due to a vertical downdraft in mountains in Snowdonia, killing 20 passengers and 3 crew. That's more likely to do. Downdraft is probably microburst that they would probably use today. 16th of January, sooty Harry Corbett's glove puppet bear appears on BBC television for the first time. British troops remain in Korea, where they have spent the last 18 months after a breakdown of talks that would have aimed at the end of the Korean War.
Canada's immigration rate rose to 14 million in 1951.
That's a lot of did you say unemployment?
Immigration.
Oh, immigration. That's actually quite a lot for Canada, isn't it?
Well, no, that was the population's 14 million. That's what, 37 million now, or 38 million, somewhere around there.
Wow. Evil Arch Conservative is saying, what are you lagging? Oh, what year are you lagging? Oh, we're on 1952 now.
Are we? We're on 52?
Yeah.
Okay, let me get 52 up there. There we go, 1952.
Look at that, Ren. That toning's still there.
Oh, nice.
I wish I didn't have, if we would have run out of flips, I'd have taken these out and redone them. Just only 5 million on these. So it's actually probably going to be a key date. That's 1952 bronze. There's another bronze. 33 million here. And this is a halfpenny. And this is a sad day for the British and Commonwealth. A sad year, not because of the Korean War. Because he was a very well-liked king.
Yeah, he was very much liked. We had 67 million of these Canadian pennies that were made.
Still not a lot, consider the actual population. It's probably only, what, 2 a penny, isn't it? 2 per person?
I think it was more like 3 or 4.
So that's not a lot of pennies per population, if you look at it that way.
Yeah, not much, really.
King George VI, examiner of order successor. King George VI dies at Sandringham House, age 56 this morning, revealed that he had been suffering from lung cancer. He's succeeded by his 25-year-old daughter, Princess Elizabeth, Duchess, who ascends the throne as Queen Elizabeth II. The new queen will was in Kenya at the time of her father's death and returns to London the following day. She will be the longest living reigning British monarch.
Yeah. She actually exceeded Queen Victoria, who had quite a reign herself.
Yeah, she was actually quite. She started her reign when she was 18.
Yeah.
But it's Queen Elizabeth's 75th year on the throne next year, so we get an extra day in the United Kingdom. Woohoo! For holidays. So keep going, Queenie. We love you. Shame about bloody siblings, though, aren't they?
So we got chat here.
Queen Elizabeth II proclaimed Queen of the United Kingdom and the Great Britain and Northern Ireland at St James's Palace. The ocean liner SS United States passes Bishop Rock on the islands of Sicily. Bishop Rock on a maiden voyage.
It amazes me to see how many years it took for women to get the right to do anything. Like, I'm just reading Ellen W. saying that the women of Greece were granted suffrage known as the right to vote in May of 1952. That's not that long ago.
No, I mean the suffragettes and all that, and the People's Act, the coins we have, and you're talking. This is going back. They started the women in England are only allowed to vote as long as they're over 25, and obviously white. That white, I just don't get the skin color thing myself, but the and then obviously it changed later on to all people can vote, and I can't remember the date of that exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But women had it hard. Women had it very hard.
They did. They did.
The United States bars Charlie Chaplin from re-entering the country after the trip to England. United States federal government agency NSA.
You know how sad that really is. When you think back and you remember Charlie Chaplin when he did The Great Dictator.
Yeah,
that was one of the most powerful speeches. If you've never heard it, go on YouTube and listen to it. To hear this man talk, and then to hear that again, McCarthyism. He was deemed a communist, and he wasn't.
No, he wasn't a communist.
You know, he was a gentle soul who spoke from the heart, and it just amazes me that the United States at that time would do something like that.
I know a little bit about Charlie Chaplin's life. He was brought up in the slums of London, and his mother and him worked in what they would call workhouses from a very, very small age. Begged, and that's where one of his films, The Tramp, come by. The little boy, Tramp,
Mm-hmm.
and that was portraying his life when he was younger. Actually, and then obviously he went to the United States. He come back more or less like a king. He was like a king when he come back to England, and he got a job working in the backstages in theatre, and he just portrayed a tramp. That's all he did. But yeah, he moved to Sweden, and that's where his final resting place was in Sweden. His body was also was dug up and held for ransom. There you go.
That's so sad. It really is so sad.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Very, very wealthy person at the end. Right. Okay. The funeral of King George VI takes place at St George's Chapel, Windsor Castle, with his body lying in state Westminster since 11th of February, so 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
Compulsory identity cards issued during World War II are abolished. So how many people had to lock up? 6 years of carrying around identity cards as well.
That's right. Check the effigy out on this one.
Your coins just amaze me. It's just like detailed to who engraved that? Is that Christopher? Is that that's going to be Leonard Wyon, isn't it? Or was that Christopher Ironside?
What's that?
I'm just trying to figure out who engraved that.
Oh,
the initials.
Let me just take a quick look.
What's the initials? And I'll try and have a guess.
Well, there's HP.
Oh, is it Paget? Some Paget?
I'm looking it up right now.
Henry Paget?
There we go. Yeah, it's T.H. Paget.
Thomas something Paget.
Yeah, HP under rear of neck.
That wasn't a bad guess.
That was a bloody good guess, actually. Boy.
What's we got? Got the October 23rd, 1950, the Nobel Peace Prize Medal Award for the discovery of drug stuff and moisin in the effect of tuberculosis. Dwight David Housen is elected president. Oh wow! Look at that. Tornado killed in Mississippi Valley kills 229 people. Thomas.
August 5th, the Alberta election. Ernest Manning's Social Credit Party wins the 5th consecutive election or majority. And the Volkswagen of Canada is founded September 11th of 1952.
That's pretty cool. This you might know this actually. This is quite interesting. I'm not saying that you were there. I'm just saying that the Great Storm blankets London, causing transport chaos, and it's believed to be around 4,000 deaths.
Missed it by a year.
Oh, there we go. There's a joke about this, right? BBC children's television series The Flower Pot Men debuts. Now, have you ever heard of the Flower Pot Men?
No, I haven't.
Okay, you've got Bill and Ben. They're called the Flower Pot Men. Okay, and they're two little plants that sit in a pot, and they talk to each other, and they sound like this. They go, yeah.
Oh my lord, that's right up there with Teletubbies.
And well, the joke goes to Bill goes to Ben. Hey, Bill, right? Oh, sorry, Bill and Ben are in the bath, and Bill goes to Ben. And Ben goes to Bill, if that stinks, I'm getting out.
Okay, that was funny. No, we had Howdy Doody.
Howdy Doody.
Yeah. Have you heard of Howdy Doody?
It sounds quite good. Howdy Doody.
Like, it's Howdy Doody time. It's Howdy Doody time. It's Howdy Doody time. It's Howdy Doody time with Buffalo Bill. I used to watch it as a kid, and we had Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse. I think back then it was probably going to be something like Andy Pandy and all that sort of stuff as well, I should imagine. Probably a bit later than that, but God.
What we got in chat here? November 4th, 1952, Dwight David Eisenhower is elected president.
Yeah. 1952, shift to the aircraft carrier Wasp and the destroyer Hobson collided in the Atlantic, synchronizing the Hobson 176. Is that sync? The Hobson have 176 killed.
LNW is learning a lot about the Korean War.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
There's so much.
The thing is, with our British history, a lot of it was I think the news put the Korean War on the back bench when King George VI died and the Queen Elizabeth II became queen. Alrighty. Yeah.
You know, evil arch conservative. Look on YouTube for Atomic City, and they actually that's why this particular coverage on television was so important, because it actually did show people sitting at next poolside in Las Vegas referred to as Atomic City, and they watched these nuclear bombs going off. It was insane.
And here's a little bit of a fact that people may not know: the English, the RAF, actually nuked America twice.
Okay, you got to explain that. How?
There's
how
actually
did England nuke America twice at the Nevada test grounds?
Watch it on YouTube. Just right in there. RAF nukes the United Kingdom twice.
Unbelievable. Wow. Yeah, that's definitely one to look up. Yeah, you know what? L&W, any soldiers, and especially ones that have actually experienced anything traumatic, they don't like talking about it. They'll talk about the good times and hanging out with their buddies and stuff, but we call it war porn. They don't want to talk about it. Okay, we move on. We'll take a look at 1953.
All right, go through the coins quickly, and I'll take a gander at yours, obviously.
My favorite year,
1953.
July 8th, 1953. I was born.
Yeah, and that was done by George Kruger Gray, who designed that reverse coin.
And of course, we've got Queen Elizabeth II on this one.
Yeah, and if you notice, she's wearing a laurel wreath.
A laurel wreath. You want to explain why she's wearing that instead of a crown?
Because the crown was too big, and this painting also is done by an artist. Was actually done before she was actually. I think it was just after the coronation, but the crown was too big for her to sit there for hours.
Mm-hmm. Well, that crown weighs what, 16 pounds or something? Some ridiculous.
Something like that. It's very heavy, and she's only what, 26 now, 25, 26.
Yeah.
And so if you look, she's in a little neck. So yeah, it's pretty heavy. So they gave her the laurel wreath for the first portrait. And if you notice on these ones, and I'll show you to 1952s. Actually, I don't have any 1952s, but this particular coin actually to 1954. Just quickly, is that the same coin? I don't know if you could blow me up a second, please, Skip.
There we go.
Right. Okay. If you notice here, if you check my videos out, in fact, you got Elizabeth II, Digratia Regina Britanniarum Omnium, and then you turn it over. Fidei Defensori, but if you notice on here, it should say Empress of India.
Right.
On the 1954, it doesn't say that, so it will not actually have Emperor of India on there anymore. Oh, Empress of India, sorry. Just trying to, so I can't see it very well on here, so it go right round. There we go.
Well, 53, that was the last year that Lord Mountbatten was
yeah, he pulled out. That's right, Lord Mountbatten pulled out of India, which caused a lot of chaos.
Yeah.
Gandhi and all that.
Interesting bit of info there. Oh. Oh, that's an interesting thing. '53 was the first year that they did the shoulder fold and no shoulder fold on the portraits.
Oh, is that because of the garment she's wearing?
It's the garment, and also it's a different. If I remember correctly, in Canada it was a slightly different portrait, and if you look at the denticles are different between
Yeah,
the
the
two.
longer. Is it longer or shorter? Yeah, shorter and longer.
Yeah, it's very subtle, but there is a difference. And you check the shoulder. Where's my pen? It's hard to see.
Yeah, you got the crease there, I believe, isn't it? Around the shoulder.
The crease is telltale, so you look in that area.
Yeah.
And
yeah, there's no.
Yeah. There is a difference.
Yeah, and the one on the left, your left.
The one on my
is got the shorter dentals. You can certainly tell a difference to the one on the right.
There's quite a bit of difference, isn't there?
Yeah.
That's where having a microscope is handy, because you can actually really zero in on that.
Mm. Okay. The car ferry marine vessel Princess Victoria, sailing from Stranraer, Scotland, to Larne, Northern Ireland, sinks in the Irish Sea, killing Northern Ireland Finance Minister and Deputy Prime Minister Maynard Sinclair and Sir Walter Smiles, the Ulster Unionist MP for North and Down.
Yeah, L&W. This was a very bad time to be in the world, in the sense that they're playing around with atomic energy, and these bombs, especially, they were going for bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. The Joe 4 was extremely large. It was the first Soviet thermonuclear weapon, but then that was followed by the La Bomba, which was the biggest one ever set off. And
there was one that they done in low stratospheric atmosphere, in the stratosphere, and it caused such a bad reaction to the Earth's magnetic field.
Yeah.
They signed a treaty to not explode any more nuclear weapons in space. But luckily, the Earth has a funny way of repairing itself, so all the radiation magnetic field repaired itself. I can't remember what the treaty is called, but it was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It made Hiroshima and
those
Nagasaki look like candlelights. Yeah, it looked like, because it went from atom bombs to nuclear fusion to hydrogen.
During the Cold War, because the Soviet Union was not very skilled at building these weapons, they tended to make them larger. So you got like 40 megaton bombs.
Yeah.
And the reason that they had was that they could shoot it in the center of a city and still get all the military installations that were surrounding the cities. A good example, Edmonton, Alberta, where I live, the ground zero for a 40 megaton bomb from the Soviet Union was sited in at the Hotel McDonald, which is right downtown. Yet you'd have to go 4 or 5 miles north to get to the base, but that would have taken out the whole city. That's the way they thought.
You never guess what one of Russia's targets were during the Cold War. If they set these things off, was actually where I live in Swindon.
Yeah, is that something, eh?
We had RAF Lynham, RAF Bryce Norton, RAF Fairford, Greenham Common, RAF. I mean, this is all bases. Army base, Uphaven, RAF Lavington. I mean, this is within 15 miles or 20 miles of our sighting. Now, you've been. I think you probably know Bryce Norton and RAF Fairford from the air tattoos, and they're not little bases. These are big bases. These are huge. In fact, RAF Fairford was a landing zone for if anything happened to the space shuttle. It used to light up blue. The whole base would light up blue.
Yeah, it's an auxiliary landing spot. We had one here too.
So it's not like it's not, these things are not little. And Kate's digging it is actually she was ex United States Air Force and she served at RAF Fairford.
Oh wow!
But yeah, she's and we drove past her and I'd done a little video for her and said, "There goes a little bit of history for you."
I'm reading a lot of stuff in chat here, and it's blowing my mind.
Yeah, it is. It's 27th of 1953, an armistice is reached in the Korean War. 18th of April, President announces that he's given up presidential Williamsburg economic measures. I don't know what that is, obviously. If you know anything about that, if you want to elaborate on that a little bit. Do you know anything about
that? No, I don't.
The 1950, they accidentally bombed Nevada or something, but didn't go off.
Probably masked by all the radioactive material that's already there.
Yeah, I mean, a nuclear particle got a half-life of over 20,000 years, or maybe longer than that.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court rules restaurants in Washington, D.C. cannot discriminate against black people. That's good news.
Oh, June 13th, the Stratford Festival of Canada opened. That's outside London, Ontario. I went to there. I actually watched Tartuffe at that theater.
Do you know what I would love you to do? Do you know you must have great, where you live, you must have some great, like, monuments and stuff, like, it's like have a little drive around your area.
There are some impressive monuments. I wouldn't say they're too close together, though.
Well, no, I mean, like in your local, I wouldn't want you to drive out millions of miles, obviously, like, but I'm just, like your own little town, something that I would never see. You know what I mean? Hopefully one day I'll get over to see you. I promise you.
The Trans Mountain Oil Pipelines completed in October of 1953.
Is that in Canada?
Yes. Elizabeth II is crowned Queen of Canada, June 2nd, 1953. Yeah. In Korea, the Canadian Army celebrated the coronation by firing red, white, and blue. It's blocking me, so I can't see what it's saying. Red, white, and blue what? Oh, blue smoke shells at the enemy. Okay, that's different.
Tommy Taylor, 21-year-old forward, becomes Britain's most expensive footballer at $29,199 transfer from Barnsley to Manchester United. Wow. It's a lot of money. Joseph Tito, the leader of Yugoslavia, visits the UK for the first communist leader to do so. Queen Mary, consort to the late King George V, dies in her sleep at Marlborough House. That's just down the road from me, Marlborough. I think you've been through Marlborough, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
The 10 ring. Oh, this is an amazing story. If you like true crime and stuff like that, the number 10 Rillington Place murders are uncovered in London. Now, just a recap on that. Rillington Place, the house is now knocked down. It's just an empty shell now. And this is a guy who was a policeman during World War II. And he killed his wife and left her in the floorboard. He killed a baby and his wife, and he said that he was a landlord also, and he managed to get the blame of a 21-year-old Scottish lad hung, and he was the innocent 21-year-old to be hanged for the murders of his wife and daughter because they believed the police officer. It wasn't until he moved out, and this guy moved out, and this people moved in, and when they was knocking in false walls, that's when they discovered the bodies in the drains and stuff like that. So,
Wow.
and he was obviously arrested a few years later. So yeah.
Wow. Evil Arch Conservative says 1953 President Eisenhower authorizes the dismissal of any federal employee who cites the Fifth Amendment to avoid giving testimony at congressional hearings. Again, I think that's all part of McCarthyism, but it's pretty bad. Canada. This blows my mind. Boy, would they freak if they had this today. The Federal Immigration Act is amended to prohibit homosexuals' entry into Canada. The amendment was repealed in 1977. So you weren't even allowed in Canada if you were a homosexual.
See, the thing, the homosexual, I don't care what people are, right, or what they do. Why should that stop people from visiting countries? It's not exactly going to. I don't know.
Who knows? It's the way people were thinking back then.
Yeah, it's just I just don't understand the short-sighted thinking of lots of places, not just Canada, but I mean lots of places.
Yeah.
I just don't understand it.
I don't
Ian Fleming published his first James Bond novel, Casino Royale. Now, Ian Fleming is buried in where is he? My mum lived there. It's literally 15 minutes away. Ian Fleming is south. Do you know what? I can't think of the name of it. It's a little village, a little village, just outside where I live. I must go up there and take a video of James Bond.
That's very cool. Very cool. So we move on to 54.
I'm still going through 53 because I was reading the Chaplin. The Queen launches the Royal Yacht Britannia at John Brown and Company's shipbuilders in Clyde. Prime Minister Winston Churchill receives a knighthood from the Queen. I'm just going to quickly just run through this because obviously the coronation of portrait here. I got the portrait coin with the Duke of Edinburgh.
Right.
The coronation of Queen Elizabeth II takes place at Westminster Abbey, which is probably one of the most viewed things ever. I'm just going to go through, just find something interesting. End of post-war sugar rationing. The end of pro-war sweets is ended.
53 Nobel Peace Prize. It goes to Warren G. George Marshall for the Marshall Plan. If I don't read out some of the ones, if we skip by, believe me, we're reading them. There's so many interesting ones here.
If any of you are die-cast collectors, little toys or whatever, little cars, the Matchbox toy vehicles are introduced by Lesney Products in London.
Wow.
There you go. That's all I'm going to read out. So let's go to 1954.
54. Yeah.
Let's take some of these coins down. Sorry about that.
You got some 54s there?
Oh yeah, I got 1954 3p.
Here, I'll put you on the big screen so we can see it a little better.
Okay. He switches himself off.
Oh, you're not looking in my ear.
So here we go. There is the 1954 threepence or threepenny bit, or 3 pence, 3 pennies, 3 old pennies, and it's quite a chunky coin. And if you notice, this is the portcullis, and this is now the badge of Westminster in Westminster Palace or Parliament in London. And here we have the sixpence, 1954. So it's two of these will be one of these. And we have all the representation. You have the Tudor Rose, the Thistle, the Leek, and the Shamrock.
I find they're very busy since they're trying to incorporate all the parts of the United Kingdom. So no one feels left out.
Exactly. I mean, it is a very busy coin, and they're probably about the same size as a dime, if you want to just put it into perspective. And then we have the 1 shilling or the 1 bob coin. These are the ones. Let me just go and find another shilling quickly. 1952 shilling. Okay. Now, when I was growing up, these was not legal. Actually, not that one. That's the wrong one. There we go. These particular coins were not legal tender when I was growing up. These were.
Oh.
So these went on until 1990. These coins, and we used to use these as 5 pences. The English and the Scottish type were legal tender right up to 1990, even though they stopped making them as circulator condition coins in 1967. They were still legal tender until 1990. And then the last one is the Scottish. That's the Scottish version. Here is the Scottish version with the single lion. And here's another shilling or 1 bob coin. And here's the English version. So altogether, there would have been 50 odd million. 51 million.
Awesome. That's a lot. The mintages are huge.
Yeah. For 2 coins anyway.
We only had 22 million of our Canadian pennies done. See,
even that is still not enough for one person. If you give everybody one of those coins to everybody in Canada, it won't even cover it. And that's what it's
I know. And
if you look at that perspective, and here is the 2 shilling coin, which is the 2 bob.
Yeah.
And that would be 2 shillings would be that basically that coin there. I'll just leave those 2 up. I'll look forward to yours.
Still see we got the 12-sided.
No, that's just an amazing kind of beaver coin. Is there any variants of that? Do you know?
In the 54, I don't believe so. I'm starting to build up my books.
Alan W.
I buried in books.
Sorry about that. I just seen his.
Don't be sorry. The 53 had the shoulder fold, no shoulder fold. 54s, no, that was the only one.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, those are nice. In 54, Canada contributed to the peacekeeping force in Indochina. I did, considering I was in the forces, I didn't know that.
In the Indochina, weren't they going to be conscripted over to the Vietnam War later on?
No, what happened? The ones I know about is we had a UN observers that went over to Vietnam from Canada, but the only Canadians that fought in the Vietnam War were actually Canadians who signed up in the American Army, the military, the American military. So they were considered they were basically considered mercenaries because they weren't fighting for their own country. They were fighting for someone else. You know, soldiers for hire, so to speak.
Yeah, they could probably get court-martialed for that in the Canadian.
Well, basically, what happened was after we're skipping ahead a little bit here, but after the Vietnam War, all these people that fought for the U.S. in Vietnam weren't recognized by the Canadian government whatsoever, and it was only in the last decade or so where they even got a memorial set up for them.
See, that's just again narrow thinking. Okay, Dr. Joseph E. Murray performed the first kidney transplant. That's from Evil Arts Conservative. And the 3rd of November, Godzilla 1954 film Godzilla is released and makes its first appearance of the character Godzilla called the same name.
I own them all, including the one that's in Japanese.
Do you? Oh wow, man!
Oh yeah, Godzilla.
I remember watching. Obviously, this is going back when I was a kid, watching the old like plasticine monster type kind of thing. 23rd of December, the first successful kidney transplant, known as the kidney transplant, is performed by Jane Howell Harrison and Joseph Murray. Now,
Patty Hearst would be pissed off if she saw that you put her down as being born in 1854.
Yeah, 1954. Yeah, I've had a kidney transplant.
Amazing. I keep hanging around people with transplants. What the heck?
You're attracted to spare parts. The first month of Screaming Freedom, Puerto Rico, 3 men and 1 woman opened fire on Spectator Gallery in the House of Representatives. 5 members of the Congress were wounded.
This a lot of people call this the young head. Proper term for it is the old effigy.
We just call it the first portrait.
Yeah.
Because it is the first portrait. I think it goes up till 19. I think it's 1960.
62 was it?
61 or 60. I think it's 10 years. It must.
Yeah, it wasn't very long. But you can actually look at all the phases of her life, can't you?
Yeah.
Through the coins, which is very cool.
I'll read out some British things now, if you like. The British Overseas Airways Corporation, De Havilland and Comet airliner BOAC flight 781 from Singapore to London crashes into the Mediterranean Sea following a fatigue failure, killing all 35 on board. Now, De Havilland were a little bit behind, and we had the best aircraft. We had the first jetliners, but the problem was we didn't understand pressurization. And still using the square windows, and that is why all aircraft now have circulated windows, because they put one of their comets into a big pool and pressurized it and saw fatigue cracks in the window frames.
Mm-hmm. That's very interesting.
12th of February, United Kingdom's Atomic Energy Authority founded. The British Medical Committee report suggests that existence to a link between smoking and lung cancer. They probably did that due to King George VI, because he was a heavy smoker, and because he had a speech impediment or a stutter, they said that smoking would cure it.
Jeez. September 9th, 1954, Marilyn Bell became the first person to swim Lake Ontario. Oh, the things people
That's
do.
a big swim.
That's a big swim.
That must have took a couple of days, surely.
It's a long swim. It would.
Oxford win. Now we got a tradition here called the Oxford and Cambridge boat race down the Thames. Oxford wins its 100th boat race.
The game Yahtzee is invented by a Canadian couple.
Oh, right. That's pretty cool. Don't Yahtzee mean like win or yes or something like that?
Well, yeah, you yell Yahtzee when you win, I guess.
Yeah, and it's
I haven't played it in a long time.
Winner or something like that. I can't remember. It's I know Yahtzee means something.
June 29th, 1954, U.S. Atomic Energy Commission votes to remove permanently the security clearance of Robert J. Oppenheimer, known as the father of the atomic bomb. Oh, okay, so he doesn't make any more bombs.
No. He actually, if I remember rightly, he was a captive Jew, wasn't he?
Oppenheimer?
Yeah, I think he was a captive. He was a Jew. I think he was captured, and he was like, and he managed to when it's like from Brown when he was when obviously he was a Jew and he was into rockets, and the Americans and all that, and everybody else obviously rescued him out of the out of captivity.
Okay, I'm going to have to look that one up because that's interesting.
And he regretted making atomic or uranium for because he split the particle, didn't he? If I remember rightly.
Yeah, a lot of those scientists regret it, including Einstein, because it's one of the worst things that we've ever come up with.
Yeah, because I think it's something like to do with splitting the atom or something like that, if I remember rightly, and that's how you get the nuclear fusion to explode its power, basically.
Yeah. Evil Arch Conservative. August 24th, 1954, the Communist Control Act becomes law. Just Act outlaws the Communist Party. And to add to that, here's where Canada and the United States differ. You'll have to speak for Great Britain there, Dale. In Canada, you are allowed to be communist and run as a member of parliament. Of course, none of them ever get in. But the Nazi Party is outlawed here.
Yeah, outlaw is. I think the Nazi Party is outlawed. But I think as long as you're not, you could be a communist, but I don't think you can introduce communism.
Yeah, but it's the opposite. It's the opposite in the United States. You can be part of the Nazi Party. That's why they got so many of them down there. But you cannot be a communist. So
that's kind of odd. I mean, politics not really big on in that sort of sense of what is right and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think communism and fascism should be left out of everything.
Yeah, I believe so as well. Because there's been a lot of wars over that type. It's not religion. That is about politics.
Yeah,
and they don't have a place in the world. Fascism and communism.
Oh, not at all. Not at all.
Roger Bannister becomes the first person to break the 4-minute mile at the Italy Road track in the University of Oxford. Now, if you don't know who Roger Bannister is, he's on our 50 pences, and he's the one with running.
Yeah.
And he done it in 3 minutes 59 seconds. And he was actually a neurologist. There you go.
Oh, cool. Man, I'm telling you, we got a lot of almost information overload.
Do you know what? I'm actually quite impressed with that because I didn't know Burger King was also before McDonald's.
Someone's got, chicken and the egg, right? we've got two people in our chat here that have excelled. Wouldn't you say, Dale?
We've got amazing people in the chat, and very impressive. It's nice to actually elaborate on different bits and bobs as well. We should go over the little segments and talk about that.
Yeah.
Little segments. Like the United Kingdom Atomic Energy Authority established the Atomic Energy Act to produce and use the disposal of atomic energy to carry out the research into any matters therewith. So that basically means they didn't know what to do with the nuclear waste, because that's the problem. It's okay making nuclear fuel, so what to do with the waste afterwards? Because you just can't take it down to the local tip.
Oh, that's another thing we could look up. Does Yahtzee actually mean 5? Okay, that's interesting.
I think Yahtzee does. I think it means 5 or yes or something crazy like that. I think
5
it does.
Behind. That's cool.
One of my favourite fighters, the maiden flight of the English Electric Lightning, the P1 supersonic fighter plane.
Yeah.
The National Trust in Scotland acquires Fair Isle. Benjamin Britten's Chamber of the Turn of the Screw receives its first premiere at the Théâtre Le Français, Venice. Chris Cataway breaks the world record for the 5,000 meters by 5 seconds. I'll read out more as for next time round. I'm just gonna leave it as that.
Bring yourself up there, brother, so we can see your face, your handsome face there.
Let's switch my camera off. Alrighty. Okay.
Alrighty.
That was a lot of fun, guys. Thank you so much for that.
It's a tremendous amount of fun, and beauty of this is we've had 2 really, and boy, I'm telling you, I'm sure you guys have picked up a lot of great information. I just ask that tell your friends to come out and join us. As Dale knows, I've been adding to this my magic bucket list bucket.
Oh,
here.
amazing!
And it's getting really heavy, and I've got some really nice coins in here, and I'm just going to pick off the top of my head. I'm going to give 1 to Evil Arch and 1 for LNW, and Dale and I will go out for a beer afterwards. So that's so not looking, but we're going to see what you come out, and I hope you get something really. Okay, LNW, I'll do you first. See if I can get a decent one here.
I don't think there's any real winners here. I think everybody's just doing really, really awesome.
Okay. LNW. Oh my goodness. What did I just pull out of the thing for you? LNW, you get an 1882 Canadian penny.
That is an amazing coin.
1882.
Just think that's 140 years old.
So that's LNW. Let's put that aside for you. That's pretty bloody good. Evil Arch Conservative. Let's see what I can pull out for you now.
5 of a kind.
Oh, I don't know if you can handle this one. Evil Arch Conservative, you get a 1976 Philadelphia bicentennial dollar. So there you go. That's bloody awesome. Awesome, guys. You make this stream. You really do.
A beautiful coin. I was just reading something there. Great prizes.
I've got some really nice ones in there now.
And just think, if you was to go into some of these auctions, you'd be paying a lot of money for them. And just coming in, just having a bit of fun, talking about history of coins, and pick up some amazing stuff. And when I get things sorted, I'm
Yep.
going to start putting up some coins as well for this as well. So if any winners from here, from my side of the country or Europe, I will send it. Anybody from Canada or America, then that'd be from, if that makes sense. So it saves a lot of posting out. So
absolutely. So yeah, it pays to contribute in this live stream. You join in and you contribute with the history, and you're going to walk away with a nice coin.
Or coins soon.
Or yeah, coins. I'm gonna have to get a much bigger envelope for Evil Arch.
You're going to need a van.
A van, yeah. Wow. So
it's just awesome. I mean, I can't thank everybody else coming out. I mean, I look forward to the streams. I mean, it's 2 o'clock in the morning for me right now, and I feel ripe as anything because I just love this. This is like the dream stream for me, and I'm being honest because nobody else does this.
well, that's the whole thing. We always talk about we love the hobby for the history. So why aren't we focusing on the history? We learn, there's lots of channels out there that go over the information about the coins, but what went on during those years that those coins are being minted, because they're being passed in other people's hands.
Yeah.
I mean, what why aren't we doing it? Well, we are doing that now, which is wonderful. And the more people we get to do it, the more a lot of us, I learned stuff here just going through this and reading some of this stuff.
Me too. I'm always
didn't know.
learning history. And when you think you may know something and something else pops up, it sort of changes the dynamic a little bit, which is quite good.
Yeah.
And I like to elaborate on certain bits. As I don't mean to go off on tangent, but it's good to talk about a certain date, like with certain things. Like it's okay reading out stuff in the chat, but I like to elaborate on that particular thing, because that is, even though we're looking at the year on that particular date, and say Evil Arch comes up with something or LNW, I like to look at that paragraph and then find out about that paragraph, because because there's more to that than reading a highlight to a paragraph, if that makes sense. So there's lots of things that I will search, and is that I like reading about and learning about. But again, if you ever get to watch a video of United Kingdom or the RAF nuking the United States twice, it is well worth a watch. A lot of channels do it because a lot of people don't realise that they nuked them twice. But I'm going to tell you how they did it. I know how they did it. But yeah.
Cool. Wow.
This has been, and I can't wait till next week. And don't forget, I'll be on live stream tomorrow as well, guys.
Oh, wouldn't miss it. Coin World UK battle chat, guys.
And the skipper, hopefully, if he's there.
I'll be there with bells on.
Bells on. Not too soon yet. You're not literally having bells on yet, right?
And tell your friends, tell your family, come on out to these.
Tell your dogs
and
goldfish to come up and play.
Yeah, we may not be doing coin roll hunts and stuff, but we're doing everything else.
Yeah, we're doing what is important.
Yeah.
Every channel has their significant sort of like niche, but you are quite right. Talking about coins and coin history is important. And if more people come, you do have this as an open panel chat, don't you? So yeah, anybody can pop up and talk coins. I'll ask you something in a minute after the stream and that. What you think? But yeah, boom! Check out Battle Chat if you haven't. I'll be back on tomorrow, then Saturday, and no, I just have fun, and I can't wait to go back round again. Awesome.
You know, one of these days I'm going to get this so it's all working properly.
It's just
I apologize for all the flubs that I've had today. I can't hear
man.
you now.
You can't hear me now.
I'm like, okay. So, guys, I want to thank everybody for coming out. Dale, you especially, man. Awesome. I know you need to get some sleep, brother, because we got a heavy day tomorrow. If you want to talk on Discord, we'll swing over to Discord, and I'll meet you there. Meantime, thank you everybody for coming out, and find if you still got some time on your hands, you know, do a raid on one of the other channels.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Much love to every single one of you. See you tomorrow, and I'll see you on Discord.